In the wide world of animation, you've got your heroes, your villains, and everyone in between. But today we're not here to talk about the brilliant or the brave. We're here to talk about the bafflingly brainless. The characters whose decision-making skills range from hilariously naive to catastrophically stupid. These are the women whose logic is a complete mystery, whose choices make you yell at the screen, and whose impact is, for better or for worse, unforgettable. This is the definitive ranking of the 7 most unintelligent female characters ever to grace animation. We're going from clueless to catastrophe, so let's count down animation's most brainless women. Number 7. Luanne Platter. Kicking off our list at number 7 is the sweet, well-meaning, and profoundly naive niece of the Hill family, Luanne Platter from King of the Hill. Luanne is the absolute epitome of the dumb blonde trope, but she's got a surprising amount of heart that makes her so much more than a punchline. Her brand of stupidity isn't malicious. It's a deep, unwavering innocence that often leaves the cynical residents of Arlen, Texas totally bewildered. Luanne's mind is a beautiful, confusing place. In one episode, she's genuinely concerned that after swallowing a watermelon seed, she may have a watermelon baby. Another episode, there's a robbery at the museum's wooden leg exhibit for Santa Ana in the news. Luanne, misunderstanding the news, comes running into Hank and Peg, crying how someone stole Santa Claus's leg. Her naivety may be best captured in her own proud declaration, "I am a proud, ignorant woman, and no one is going to change that."
Stop telling me what to do. I am a proud, ignorant woman, and no one is going to change that.
Now that is the stupidest thing I ever heard anyone say.
This is said after her new boyfriend Trip Larson tells her she is ignorant rather than stupid, telling her it's a compliment. Peggy Hill's response? Now that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard anyone say, pretty much sums up how everyone feels in that moment.
You are not stupid. You're ignorant.
What? No, you can't tell.
It's a compliment. That just means you haven't had the chance to learn all the wrong things.
Oh.
But Luanne's cluelessness isn't always just for laughs. It has real, often heartbreaking consequences. Her innocence makes her vulnerable, and she's constantly taken advantage of by the men who see her as an easy target. First with her manipulative boyfriend, Rab Thibodeaux, who's not only super heavy-handed with the cheesy compliments, but also tells Luanne what to say and think, such as when he says, "I'm going to ask you out, and you don't know it yet, but you're going to say yes." Luanne gets super excited saying he's right and accepts the date. Then to the exploitative pork products magnate we mentioned earlier, Trip Larson, who we later find out only loves her because she looks identical to his company's original advertisement model. Luanne's inability to spot deceit leaves her open to emotional and financial ruin on multiple occasions. What lands Luanne at number 7 is that underneath all that ignorance, there's a real capacity for growth. Early in the series, she shows a surprising knack for mechanics, fixing things the men could not, a skill that sadly gets written out over time. She grapples with genuine trauma from her parents' messy lives, ranging from physical abuse to addiction issues to jail time, and her boyfriend Buckley's sudden death from an explosion at the Megalomart. Yet through it all, she somehow maintains a core of sweetness and a desire to be better. Luanne is a ray of sunshine in a cynical world, a truly kind soul whose brain just happens to operate on a different, much simpler frequency. Number 6. Brandine Spuckler. At number 6, we venture into the backwoods of Springfield to meet Brandine Spuckler of The Simpsons. Brandine is part of the very fabric of Springfield's cartoonish reality, a character so steeped in hillbilly stereotypes that her stupidity becomes a kind of surrealist art. She and her husband/relative Cletus exist in a state of blissful, uneducated chaos. Brandine's moments of profound ignorance are legendary. Her relationship with Cletus is a tangled mess of familial confusion. In one episode, she says to him, "Cletus, you are the most wonderful husband and son I ever had." And yet another, Cletus says, "Now, honey, they's my parents too," implying they're siblings? So however they're related, we know it's weird. Brandine's story is a shifting narrative that includes serving in the Iraq War and working at a Dairy Queen. In one episode, she reveals she was illiterate until a tornado conveniently dropped a load of books on her, allowing her to secretly self-educate. Sadly, this results in Cletus and her children not wanting anything to do with her, and she leaves, moving in with Marge and the Simpson family. But don't worry, everything is resolved by the end of the episode when Cletus turns up with a changed attitude and a library card. The consequences of Brandine's stupidity are less about huge catastrophes and more about the quiet, pervasive tragedy of her family's life. Her many children are raised in a state of ignorant neglect. She seems to be the stricter parent, with Cletus saying to the kids as she leaves, "Remember, you go with her, you gots to wash your hands." The paternity of most her children, rumored to be 19 kids and some say as many as 75, is a mystery, with Cletus only confirmed as the father of the 2 untalented ones. Her lack of judgment and basic knowledge perpetrates a cycle of poverty and ignorance that her children are born into. The catastrophe here is generational, a slow-moving disaster of family dysfunction. Brandine lands at number 6 because for most of her time on the show, she's more of a recurring gag than a deep character. Unlike Luanne, there's very little emotional depth or vulnerability to explore. She represents a static form of cartoon foolishness, reliably absurd and comically tragic. Number 5. Amy Wong. For our number 5 spot, we blast off to the 31st century with Futurama's heiress and Planet Express intern Amy Wong. Amy is a fascinating case. She holds a doctorate in applied physics from Mars University, making her, on paper, the most educated person on this list. In practice, however, she's a walking paradox of academic brilliance and social buffoonery. Amy's brand of brainlessness is a mix of supreme klutziness and a Valley Girl cluelessness that clashes beautifully with her scientific background. Her introduction to the series has her losing the keys to the Planet Express ship in a claw machine, putting coin after coin in, trying to win them back. Despite her intelligence, she often makes silly mistakes and completely misses social cues. Her parents, Leo and Inez, constantly heckle her, try to set her up with the most awful suitors, reminding her she isn't getting any younger, and constantly push her for grandchildren. The consequences of Amy's actions often escalate from minor blunders to genuine universe-threatening problems. She once misinterpreted an ancient Martian prophecy telling everyone the Earth would be destroyed and that there was a way to escape the planet to Mars. This leads to a full-scale panicked evacuation of Earth. As it turns out, it was Mars that would be destroyed, not Earth. When being told this by Mars inhabitants, Amy gets defensive, pouts, and says reading Ancient Martian is hard. Her romantic life is also a series of fiascos, from dating the robot vendor to make a statement for robosexual rights, the right for a human and a robot to be in a romantic relationship, to having Fry's head surgically attached to her shoulder after Fry's body was badly damaged in a car accident, and also after they had just broken up. Awkward! Amy lands at number 5 because her intelligence, while often on vacation, does actually exist. She's a competent scientist when she applies herself, and she has moments of genuine kindness and growth, eventually settling down with the amphibian-like alien Kif and becoming a mother. However, her consistent flightiness, her knack for causing accidents, and her naive approach to complex situations earn her a solid spot on this list. Number 4. Brittany Taylor. At number 4, we travel back to the cynical, monotone world of the 90s with Daria's head cheerleader, Brittany Taylor. On the surface, Brittany is the quintessential dumb blonde cheerleader. She's obsessed with her social status, her looks, and her quarterback boyfriend, Kevin. Brittany's dialogue is a goldmine of hilariously empty-headed thoughts. Her understanding of the world is filtered through cheerleading analogies and simplistic social hierarchies. She operates on pure emotion, especially jealousy. Brittany isn't cruel, she's just oblivious. She's often surprisingly sweet to people outside her popular clique, including Daria and Jane. The humor comes from the sheer, unadulterated confidence she has in her own nonsensical logic. But Brittany's cluelessness isn't always harmless. Her fierce, often baseless jealousy over Kevin leads to constant drama. In one episode, Kevin is paired with Daria for a science project involving training a pet rat to run a maze. Brittany is convinced Daria is trying to steal Kevin away from her, so sabotages their project by stealing their rat. Kevin ends up getting a D in the assignment. Yet there are these fascinating glimmers of something more. In the paintball episode, The Daria Hunter, she unexpectedly channels a military strategist, coming up with a brilliant, if not terrifying, plan of attack to separate as a group, surround their enemy from 3 sides, and drive them out to a 4th side to ambush their opposing team. In another moment of surprising clarity, Brittany gives Daria genuinely good advice, saying, "We're all just human," or whatever, when Daria is worried about being vain for choosing contacts over glasses, succeeding where Jane couldn't. These moments suggest that Brittany may not be stupid so much as intellectually lazy. She has the capacity for more, but rarely chooses to use it. Brittany Taylor is ranked at number 4 because she represents a specific highly refined type of stupidity, the willful ignorance of the popular girl. She's not just clueless, she's just uninterested in being anything else. Her moments of competence just make her usual dim-wittedness all the more baffling. We're down to our top 3. If you're enjoying this countdown into animated absurdity, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and have a guess in the comments who will take the crown. Number 3. Lumpy Space Princess. Breaking into our top 3 is the walking, floating embodiment of teenage angst and self-obsession, Lumpy Space Princess, or LSP from Adventure Time. LSP isn't just stupid. She is a chaotic force of pure, unadulterated ego. LSP's entire worldview is filtered through her own selfish desires. In one episode, she physically attacks Princess Bubblegum because she wanted to use her time machine to go back to when her boyfriend loved her. Princess Bubblegum was furious and said if LSP apologizes, she will not declare war. LSP responds with, I'm sorry you're so stupid," as she exits the room. The consequences of LSP's stupidity are often widespread and severe, moving us firmly into the catastrophe side of the scale. Her selfishness has endangered Finn and Jake on numerous occasions. In one episode, she endangers Jake and Finn when she repeatedly tries to seduce Finn, but he is oblivious. She follows him on a quest and ultimately can't help but admire herself in numerous cursed mirrors, summoning multiple attackers. Jake and Finn fight them off, saving her. In another incident, LSP bites Jake, giving him the lumps, then tells him the only antidote is a less-than-safe adventure through Lumpy Space. Lumpy Space Princess secures the number 3 spot because her stupidity is dangerously tied to her immense selfishness. Unlike the characters lower on this list, LSP rarely has moments of kindness or redemptive insight. She is a catastrophic, lumping disaster and one of animation's most brilliantly brainless creations. Number 2. Princess Clara. Our runner-up for the title of animation's most brainless woman is a character from a show designed to be as offensive as possible, Princess Clara from Drawn Together. As a parody of a classic Disney princess, Clara embodies the sheltered, naive archetype, but the show dials her ignorance up to 11 and twists it into a weapon. She is a fountain of 1950s bigotry, offensive statements, and a profound, almost aggressive lack of understanding about the world. Princess Clara's stupidity is defined by her horrifying bigotry. She is overtly and casually racist, sexist, and homophobic, not out of malice, but out of a deep, unshakable ignorance passed down from her father. Now, we can't repeat the things she says on here for fear of being banned, but trust me, it's bad. Her mind is a pristine, empty castle filled with the worst stereotypes imaginable. She makes wildly offensive statements with the cheerful cadence of a princess singing to woodland creatures. Clara's stupidity leads to a constant state of catastrophe within the Drawn Together house. One of the show's most infamous episodes reveals she has a tentacled Cthulhu-like monster, the Octopuswa, living in her nether regions, the result of a curse from her evil stepmother. While at first her housemates were accepting of this strangeness, one housemate, Toot, is jealous of the attention she's getting and deliberately sets the monster off with a loud noise, causing it to attack and terrorizes the housemates. Princess Clara is number 2 on our list because she represents stupidity as a form of societal poison. She is the living embodiment of prejudice born from a lack of exposure and education. While the show plays it for the darkest of laughs, her character is a terrifying look at how innocence can be a vessel for hate. The only reason she doesn't take the top spot is because there is one character whose brainlessness is somehow even more chaotic, destructive, and pure. Number 1. Cheryl/Carol Tunt. And now the moment you've been waiting for, the number 1 most bafflingly unintelligent female character in animation. The Queen of Clueless, the Empress of Empty-Headed, the absolute grand champion of brainless catastrophe is Cheryl, or Carol Tunt from Archer. Cheryl is not just stupid, she is a singularity of insanity. She's a billion-dollar heiress who works as a secretary, a job she is legendarily incompetent at. She often disconnects callers instead of transferring them. She is a whirlwind of bizarre fetishes, including a love for being choked, humiliated, burned, hell, hurt in any way, including someone trying to kill her. Not to mention, she has a serious addiction to sniffing glue. Her brain is a terrifying and unknowable place. She admits to wanting to adopt a baby just so she can abandon it at a mall, and how she wants to use money she earns from a mission to buy an orphanage just so she can bulldoze it for shits and grins. I think we can all agree just how incredibly and terrifyingly unhinged that is. Trying to list all of Cheryl's dumb moments is an impossible task. She regularly misunderstands the most basic concepts, even something as simple as what confidential means, leaving sensitive files laying on her desk, or repeating them out loud for everyone to hear, often derailing top-secret spy missions. In one episode, after being turned on by all the violence, she decides she has Stockholm Syndrome, changes her name to Tanya, and falls in love with a terrorist in a clown mask before painting her own face to look like a clown. She is a habitual arsonist who has admitted to setting fires for the thrill of it, including burning down 2 family stables and even lighting her own hair because she likes the sound. Her grasp on her own identity is so weak that she readily accepts being called Carol, Crystal, or any other name people throw at her, even legally changing her name to Carol since Archer mistakenly calls her Carol so often. The consequences of Carol's actions are, without exaggeration, catastrophic. Her stupidity and insanity are a constant threat to national and international security. She is a deeply broken person whose immense wealth has allowed her to exist in a bubble completely detached from logic, reason, or consequence. Her brain isn't just empty, it's a raging tire fire of psychopathy. Cheryl Tunt is the undisputed #1 because her stupidity transcends mere ignorance or naivety. It is an active, aggressive, and weaponized form of insanity. She's not just clueless, she is a catastrophe in human form, a walking, screaming, glue-sniffing testament to the destructive power of a truly brainless mind. And there you have it. From the sweetly naive to the certifiably insane, our definitive ranking of animation's 7 most brainless women. These characters make us laugh, they make us cringe, and they make us wonder what on earth their writers were thinking. Their stupidity ranges from harmlessly hilarious to genuinely destructive. But what do you think? Who did I miss? Let me know in the comments who you think is the most brainless female character in animation, and if you agree with my #1 pick. Thanks for watching. If you liked this deep dive into animated idiocy, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Maybe check out our video on the smartest cartoon characters next, just to balance things out. Until next time.